I went to Nebraska recently. It's a great state. The billboards, instead of the, crazy lawyers we have here, it's Jesus and farm equipment.
A lot of religious beliefs and convictions are way stronger here than anywhere else.
My values are going to be different from somebody who's lived in Middle America all their life.
I probably wouldn't fit in too well there, but who it is.
It really depends on where you are and who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty different than people in with a lot of different areas.
As far as like living in the backwoods of Maine versus living in like the city of Austin, Texas versus living in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota, or even living in suburbs outside of major cities, I just feel like there's so much variation between, people's lifestyles.
If you're over 40 or 50 years old and you don't have like a person of color as a friend, this is not 1930.
Well, you got politics for one thing.
I'm what you would consider a proud American.
I think the U.S. is very, very interesting, just how big and diverse the living situations are.
Every place has its own little bit of magic, and I think that's what's exciting about America.
So I think overall as a country, we're pretty prideful in where we're from.
I'm actually a Mississippi boy, born and raised.
As far as like living in the backwoods of Maine versus living in like the city of Austin, Texas versus living in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota, or even living in suburbs outside of major cities, I just feel like there's so much variation between, people's lifestyles.
I just think everybody has a different point of view or outlook on life.
Each person's dream is going to be different.
It really comes all down to dollars and cents.
I think a lot of people think the American dream has to do with money, and everyone has such different ones.
If you're struggling to put food on the table, you're going to have different values than somebody who's having all of those needs met.
But there's that stigma, well, if you don't get to college, if you don't get your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, then what are you worth?
Because we're stuck up on the little things.
It's just weird how people put folks in that box of how they want you to look and how they want you to, how they see you, and they want you to be that person.
American dreams are different everywhere, and hopefully, I don't know.
There's a disconnect somewhere. Whatever major media outlet you're watching, it's basically telling you to hate somebody.
The media is good, and in other ways it's bad, because a lot of times the information that they give us is not accurate, or it's not correct. So that's just the way it is.
They're making you fear somebody. They're making you hate somebody.
See, the media, it shows you what it wants to show you.
You're being told to fear things. Being told to fear illegal immigrants, being told to, fear all the corrupt politicians.
Brainwashed, like, those people are terrible, yes, those people are going to do bad things to us, yes, we must hate them, yes. Bullshit.
People just don't really understand other people.
Most of the time, a lot of our disconnects are the lack of knowing one another, and it seems to me that we're more and more isolated from each other.
Fear of difference, mostly.
Being scared of this, being scared of that, right? Being scared of police, being scared of the minorities who are going to kill you because they're minorities. And it makes no sense.
People shouldn't be, really giving them, a reason to hate more. That's the problem that I have.
So you're busy. You got your emails, you got your phones, you got your apps.
Technology's made this all seem so important, and it's introduced a lot of what I would call, I don't know, self-absorption. People are getting obsessed with themselves.
You take the good with the bad when there's that much, freedom.
I think a lot of people, I don't know, spend too much time like browsing Facebook and doing these things that are just like not productive.
I read too much. I watch too much news.
They focus on the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. You know.
I just think there's a lot to appreciate that's out there that we just don't really notice due to all of these constant distractions we have.
To not get distracted by the women, the drugs, the experiences, the relationships, but to actually, to recognize that there's something greater than that, something greater for your mind, for your perspective.
When people try to talk about real social issues that are real problems, I feel like everything just kind of gets drowned out by everything else. Like, it's hard for anything to even seem significant with how much we're exposed to on a daily basis.
Situation where people just do not understand because they don't have to understand. And that's where privilege comes in.
Everyone throughout America is doing something on their own every single day differently. And so when you're able to travel and really put yourself in their situation and their shoes, it allows you to have a better perspective on what truly matters.
Equality should be freedom to practice anything within reason and within laws, as long as you're not bothering anyone. All people should be treated humanely and as equals.
People shouldn't be treated any differently, or they shouldn't be, subject to, restrictions based on race or belief or whatever, but they also shouldn't, treat other people badly.
At the end of the day, you tend to have the same wants and needs.
I take pride in the fact that there are a lot of pretty awesome people out there, people who want, for example, say pot to be legalized, or, people fighting for gay rights or black rights.
Generally, everywhere you go, you meet people who are very, very kind and very welcoming.
I like that, There are so many people out there who are working out there to, just make the world better.
I find that if I talk to people long enough, we find a place of meeting.
You might find that we're not all together different.
In almost every case through my life, when I've seen people who are different be together, they almost always connect.
So people, places, and things. Okay.
People has to be the most important.
So everybody's heard it. You can't take it with you.
People are more important than things. Absolutely.
Things you gotta go toss out last. Bingo, out.
If you lose a person, you've lost the best thing you've ever had.
The personal connection with another person is vital. Vital. It's the key.
If you count them as people, I'm just gonna pick the dogs every time.
People. People. Look, it's in big bold letters. We the people. It doesn't get any bolder than that.
I could make $5 and barely eat, but if I have someone that I love beside me, then, it's worth it, because then we can get through it together.
sometimes it's like you can almost share your misery with people. So even if you're in a place that you don't love, sometimes that's a connection, you know, something that brings people together.
You know, I don't need a lot of money. I just need simple things, you know, food, shelter, and water.
Person.
What would be a house if you didn't have someone to live with?
That's MC. No, I am who I am as a result of my collective experiences, not the things that surround me. The gap between the haves and the have-nots is probably one of the largest social issues facing the nation right now.
The economic inequalities are heightening all of that now.
I hate walking out into a world where, you know, we're walking over people, and that's normal.
Equality, and this is my opinion speaking, has become where I triumph over you.
I think I'm pretty sure what we're talking about here is prejudice, you know, and everyone has prejudice.
Where we're currently heading will just drive that wedge deeper, and the haves will have even more and the have-nots will have even less.
I mean, my mom puts it really, really well. It's the idea that she has never once in my life had to sit down and had a conversation with me about things I should do if a cop pulls me over to ensure that nothing bad happens. I never had to have that conversation.
Uncertain economic climate, a lot of people are just struggling to get by.
That American dreamer that can have a family, a kid, and a home and live with happiness without concern about bills and not being able to pay the rent or paying whatever.
Some of it's environmental. What it comes down to is opportunity.
Right. Basically inequality.
And if you don't have the opportunity, you're going to be operating on a different set of values than somebody who had that opportunity.
I take it for granted because I think I grew up in a situation where I didn't have a lot of safety nets, so I didn't need them because I didn't need it.
Because I am unemployed, I was not able to stay with the insurance that I had through the state of Georgia.
I think if you're always worried about not being able to make it, then I think it limits your creativity and your what you might choose as your goal versus what might inspire you.
You know, they have the same dreams, same aspirations, but they don't have the financial means to achieve those.
Like it comes down to money. It comes down to money.
If you can't live your life comfortably, then you can't even pursue who you are as a person, what makes you happy.
If you can't afford to study and go for that whatever goal you have, then you can't go for it. I think it limits it all.
And I think that hinders a lot of kids in kind of deciding what they want to do.
When I was a very little kid, I wanted to grow up and be a doctor like my friend's dad down the street.
Educate myself, and then I was able to choose the job that I wanted doing.
What would I change? I would change the way veterans are being treated and the poor and the homeless, better treatment.
People need to be more accepting of everyone's viewpoints.
I don't want it to be more and more we've got to build walls around our country.
No single one person is the enemy.
I wish that people would, be more willing to help each other and, less antagonistic.
To really understand everybody on what they want to do, you have to get to know them on a personal level and why they're doing these things.
I found that a lot of times just being happy or being positive around other people can influence other people to be happy.
It's your perception. You always, if you have that positive outlook and that positive mentality, then you're bound to have a better experience in that situation.
You never really know what your impact is, and so it's dangerous to be negative all the time.
Like a really good attitude, if you perceive something, whether it's work or friends or anything like that, if you have an attitude where you're always growing and always learning, that will benefit you more than how you spend your time.
Wherever you are, you can have a positive influence.
I think we can talk to each other and talk to people who are different than we are.
You have to try everything.
That person is a person as well and has a story.
If you keep your ears on and you listen.
Hey, I want to find out what your life is like. Tell me about it.
The barriers that can be broken.
If you actually say to them, I'm great, thanks, how are you? Even if you don't feel it, you can see their whole demeanor change, and it's a positive interaction.
If you want to know something, listen.
It's time to start listening. It's time to stop talking and start listening.
Because if you don't listen, then it's like, what's the point? It's all about you.
People are afraid to say what they really feel.
Here's the thing. If I had to give one piece of advice, it would be stop giving advice and listen. That's good.
I think if we spoke to each other more about our differences rather than immediately shutting them down, I think we would actually get somewhere together.
Remember the t-shirt I said I wanted?
No.
Please stop talking.
I think it takes a lot of work to listen.
Try to understand their struggles. Try to understand their reality. Try to live life through their, walking in their shoes, see things through their eyes for a bit, and understand that because you have an opinion doesn't mean you necessarily need to share it, and doesn't necessarily mean that you have some sort of purview that is superior to others, and if only people would listen to what you had to say, then somehow everything would be great. I want to wake up in the morning and be excited about every day.
Whatever it is that makes you happy, that's what you're waking up, that's what you're thinking about.
And not think to myself, I've got to go to work today, this is going to be awful.
How can I make somebody's life better than it was yesterday?
To not have to worry about bills.
I think there are a lot of people that would work for less money if they felt really valued in their jobs,
I want every day to sort of have purpose and to have a positivity behind it that is, naturally a result of me doing what I want to do with my day, with my time on Earth.
I was born in Buenos Aires, in Argentina. I came to the United States when I was 9 years old.
You can come from nothing and turn it into something.
I came to New York City. One of the first things I remember is the Statue of Liberty. I did not know a word of English at the time.
That idea that you can be or do whatever you want.
My parents did not know English. My sister did not know English. We learned it. I learned it through Sesame Street.
I think it comes down to the person and the drive, because I've seen people from the bottom that work their way up to the top.
Now I'm a doctor. If that's not the American dream, nothing is. And I'm sorry I'm getting emotional.
I've lived the American dream. I was the first one in my family to be born in a hospital.
Everyone has an opportunity, and if you don't take advantage of it, you can't blame nobody but yourself.
I went to school on my own as far as continuing education.
I think it's easy for us to forget how far we've come.
It doesn't matter what you come from, what your skin color is, or what your religious background is.
I mean, skin color is the stupidest thing that we had to separate each other for.
You have the opportunity to succeed and accomplish the same things that the highest people have accomplished.
I was 21 years old. It was in a Brooklyn courthouse, and you have to give away your green card. And when you give away your green card, you feel naked because that's your identity in a sense. And then you get sworn in, and you get sworn in next to people that are from Canada, from Cuba, from Puerto Rico, from China, and everybody feels this emotion. And then you get your citizenship paper, and that's when you can vote. And again, I apologize. What else can I answer for you?
The most important thing is that somebody takes you in. And to me, you never forget those people that take you in. So that's what America's about to me.
And so all my life, I've just tried to be a friend to people.
To continue to help other people, even though I might crack a beer every now and then.
It really comes down to a person. Why? We're all just here to live, you know, and to live comfortably.
If I can do something to make someone else's life easier or better, then I think that I've served my purpose.
Dear God, just help me to be a friend.
Answering this question would kind of defeat the purpose, but I wanted to help as many people as I can, while I can, without people knowing that I did it. There's a mosquito biting you right now. Yeah. Okay.
Generosity. Generosity drives so many things.
When I believe this, when you bring everybody along, then everybody wins.
You have to have someone who sets aside what they believe so they can understand what someone else believes.
I'd say to anybody, start being real with yourself and other people.
And I can't look at you without first looking at myself. If I'm going to judge you, then let me first judge myself to see who I am.
And that's a struggle because I think that we need to really be real with each other.
Until one can clearly see themselves for who they are, then they can't appreciate others for who they are.
We all do some things that's maybe not the best choices.
You have to stop acting like you're perfect.
Nobody is. But we just have our own insecurities maybe about how people would perceive the way we act in private, in person, in public.
Once you start from self, you feel good about yourself, and you've rid all the negative thoughts and you've rid all the insecurities, you can help other people.
Yes, it does need to be a group effort, an entire society effort, right? But it starts with each individual.
But it starts with you. You say, I'm going to start with me. I'm going to be a good person, the best of my ability.
Only by respecting you and asking you to respect me can we individually achieve that dream that's within each individual.
And if everyone say that, that's at least one step.
You have to go out, you have to just start making a difference yourself. Wake up in the morning and think, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? How can I help somebody, right?
If you empathize with a whole group of people, I think it raises everybody up. If somebody that's more well off and has money can empathize with somebody that started off lower, I think it will provide a better outlet and a pathway for people to achieve that goal.
The respect is a big thing to understand. Yes, you may have a different religion, you may have a different way of folding your pants. I don't know. We have differences, but we're all human beings. We breathe, we eat, we laugh, we have pain, just like anyone else.
Yeah, I think if we could create a better sense of community, it would be so beneficial in so many ways.
Aren't there just an amazing amount of really good people in this world?
I think people are happier when they focus, more on other people as well as themselves.
And isn't it nice when you have the opportunity to meet some of them and remind yourself of it?
And that's what the American dream is made up of, is helping each other up and raising up from the bottom and becoming equals.
I think if you give good, you can receive good.
I just love you.
From what I understand, America is supposed to be this land of the free, and we have a lot of choices here.
Well, yeah, everybody does have that choice, but not everybody realizes it.
People have different ideas. Everyone says they want freedom, but people have different ideas of what freedom actually is and what it actually means.
You have to be open-minded. It really is a freedom to be in the United States.
The Second Amendment right, freedom to defend oneself.
For me to have the ability to go out and meet whoever I want, talk to whoever I want, wear whatever I want, and just do kind of essentially what I want, law-abiding, it allows me to become me and myself and be who I want to be and connect with other people. There's no law saying I have to talk to this person or that I can't talk to this person or that person. I can connect with whoever I want to and find happiness with other people on our own.
Freedom from religion.
Freedom of and from religion, freedom of speech and freedom from speech.
Would be freedom to speak. You were free to keep and bear arms, among other things.
Freedom to get in my car and drive to visit my mother's family in Texas.
As a little girl, what I wanted out of America was the dream of traveling and seeing America.
You have the option to have extra help to achieve wherever you want to go.
Then I would like that a lot. gosh, to do what you like and to have everything in this world brought to you, and to live a full life, something that you can't even fathom, you know? Oh my God, I can't imagine.
You want the opportunity to develop yourself.
As long as you're not, stopping someone else from doing those same things and living the ideals that they see fit to live, just go for it. Don't worry about what people tell you are supposed to do. You're supposed to have kids by the time you're a certain age.
And you want the opportunity to go to school.
You're supposed to be married by the time you're a certain age.
And you want the opportunity to be able to speak your mind.
You're supposed to make your parents proud before you do anything for yourself. All of those ideas, I think, are counterproductive to living any sort of actual dream.
I always say the streets are paved with gold.
I guess I've just always kind of pictured America as being where you can make your own choices.
Because I have freedom from a lot of challenges and issues that most other people in the world have to face on a regular basis, even getting food in my apartment, because I'm prevented from those challenges, the freedom from those things living in this country, I in turn get to focus on and create other problems for myself, which ultimately affects that short-term, long-term happiness, I think.
Not only say and express what's deep inside of you, but to be able to know that you're not going to be chastised or imprisoned or kept from fully realizing what it is that you feel or you desire to express.
And to live in freedom is very good, because there got some countries where you can't do the thing that we do. We couldn't walk the streets that we walk, like we walk in America. It's the land of the free. You got freedom.
I think that's what's interesting about foreigners and why foreigners come here and they do so well, because they don't have what we have. And they come here and they realize, oh my gosh, I can do anything.
Versions of a dream, but I don't know, does it really fit within the American dream? What is the American dream?
My American dream or other people's American dream?
The American dream means a lot of things to me. I think you have to go way back into what makes our country great.
Your number one goal when you wake up in the morning is to make sure that you're living a fulfilled life.
My goal number one is to live absolutely the fullest life possible.
Forget the American dream. What is your dream? What makes you want to wake up?
I would have a lot of regret of not doing this, not doing this, not doing that if, I passed today.
For me, there's definitely certain things that I hope to achieve or have long term.
Have a family and, travel with them and have a place that my children can be safe.
To live comfortably.
Ultimately be happy. I want to go do what I want to do.
And to live comfortably doing something that you don't necessarily hate to do.
I like thinking about just being happy.
We all want the same thing. We are all, again, yearning for that American dream. And I think if we open our eyes to that and realize that they're working probably just as hard and sometimes maybe even harder.
I feel like the American dream is all that different than anyone else's dream anywhere else in the world, really.
That's exactly what I would say.
Yeah, well.
If we do our best, if we do much harder, we can success.
Be more cool.
So I guess you're saying that the American dream ought to be cool, but you're saying the American dream ought to be happy.
Yeah. Do we keep marching on towards an undefined goal, or do we take a step back and look at where we want to be, what kind of society do we want to have, and how do we get there?
For me, the American dream is about acceptance.
99% of people are good people.
Honestly, my experience has been that 98% of the people in the world pretty much want the same thing. They want to support their family. They want to earn a decent living. They want to pursue the things that give them joy in life and love their children.
Each person's dream is going to be different.
I think it all comes down to the simple idea of happiness.
But there's one thing that we all want that's the same.
You know, everybody wants to find something that makes them happy.
And that's happiness.
Because what makes somebody else happy could make you happy as well, but in a different way.
Basically, the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right?
And, you know, everybody wants to find something that makes them happy. You know,
because what makes one man happy?
As a person, if you feel valued in some part of your life, you can find happiness because it makes you happy to feel valued by, your family, your kids, your co-workers.
And the hope is obviously that magic word, happiness.
I want to be happy.
Everybody has a different path to get there. Everybody wants to find happiness, but what does that mean for you?
I mean, if you're not happy, then what's the point of living?
I want to be happy, and I want to make the people who have to deal with me in my daily walk happy.
Well, I think that it's about intimacy. It's about closeness. It's about trust. It's also about committing yourself to finding happiness within your family. I don't think that it comes naturally to everybody.
deep down, everybody is still chasing that idea of being happy, whatever it would be for them.
Our world is made up of different people, but in reality, everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants a better life. But the question is, are we willing to sacrifice and do what we need to do as human beings to make sure that we're happy, we're putting forth the effort to have that better life?
Why not? You only have the one life to live, so explore while you can and try and find your happiness.
So I think it comes down to achieving happiness.
It's true. All right, you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yes, sir.